Hi everyone, we're going to start our live very soon, in 3 minutes. My name is Tarso dos Santos, and on behalf of Positive Inspirit Center, we're going to start our live English live here on Facebook, and I hope you can join us. So we're going to give another 3 minutes, and it's a pleasure to be here, and we'll be starting in 3 minutes. Thanks for those who are joining us. We have one person joining us, which is great. Don't know who is joining. If you can say hello. If you don't want to say hello, it's okay as well. But welcome. I'm going to be starting 2 minutes. So thank you, little joinha. It's Adriana. Hello, Adriana. Today the topic is I can do good in the world. So this is the topic we're going to talk about in our live from Positive Inspirit Center. We're going to start in 1 minute. Well, if you hear any sounds in the background, I'm from home, as you can see, and kids are usually screaming all around, and if they're laughing, it's great. But if they're screaming, shouting, well, I can't do anything at the moment. But yeah, no, it's at home as usual in our lockdown. So welcome everyone that's joining us right now. So it's a pleasure that you are here, and we're going to be starting very soon. It's 6:15. And just rephrasing the topic for today is I can do good in the world. We are live here on behalf of Positive Inspirit Center. My name is Tarso dos Santos. So I'm your convener here today, talker about this topic. If you wanna, we have just few people, one person comes in and goes, but it's okay. Dre, if you wanna make any comments, feel free. If you're watching this later, hopefully can be useful. Hopefully it's going to be good for you. We can only try. So yes, welcome anyone that's joining us, coming in and out. So we're going to be starting. Please feel free to help me with this connection. We believe that we can be connected right now. So it's the power of mind, power of willing. So I really wish that we could be in presence, but we'll be connected today remotely, which is great as well, having this opportunity. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you. So we're going to connect to our mentors from Positive Inspirit Centers, the Spirit Center. He's always with us. Our fellowship, our guardian angels that work towards our center as well. We elevate our thoughts. Please feel free to keep your eyes open. Or shut. You should be relaxed, and any way you'd like. So we connect as well to our individual mentors, and connect to a mentor from Australia that protect us in this beautiful land we are, as well as the mentors from Brazil and all the other countries that bless us with the opportunity to reach and bring a little bit of ideas and words that can based on the spiritist teaching, spiritism, and we enlighten and we bring our sentiments and our thoughts to our Master Jesus that can enlighten us at this moment, and Mother Maria. So thank you for those that are joining us. Really welcome. If you want to say anything, please, it's most pleasure that you can put any comments there. Really, it's amazing. Just have that communication. So please feel free if you can say anything or give you any ideas as well. Please be welcome. So the topic again is I can do good in the world. So it's a very positive statement, right? So I can do good in the world. But some questions may arise if when you make these statements. Some people may be doubtful they can do good in the world, and can I do good on the world by myself because the world is so big? What are the consequences if I towards 100% good in the world? Do I lose focus on my individual things, work, my professional work, or anything else, or maybe I have the benefits of evolving as a soul, or perhaps a healthier life. So we're going to cover these aspects. And we shouldn't think in binary mode where we can have one or the other, but in reality, it's everything together. And we have these amazing scientists now, they are actually researching on this area. I'm going to cover the Spiritist ideas, the views, and the science from Spiritism, but also a new science that's coming out today, which are amazing, which cover those topics. We're going to bring them together. Hopefully we can bring them together and view and have a look at the different views. So I think we should really start having understand what does it mean, this statement of I can do good in the world. So I'll give a pause. Let's think about it. Is that related to big things? Is that related to finding cure for diseases, create big revolutionary ideas to change the world, to change the way we can protect nature, the ambient, everything around us? Yes, perhaps, and there's amazing things that are happening out there. But however, the things we're talking about they are both manageable. They're more manageable from our today and everyday life that we are on. It's more common things to our lives that we think that are surround us. It just starts with gestures. It just starts with behaviors, influence others positively. And how can we impact people with our ways, with our behavior that can motivate people to do as well? And it is so powerful. If you think about kids, just kids by themselves, when we behave in such a way that can influence them positively and give them loving ideas that can shape their upbringing, and then they'll be amazing beings for the future that they themselves, they will transform the world. So it's a connective state of relationships that start with us. So we don't have to think about doing good to the world just in terms of these big acts that we see from these amazing people out there, which they are, but it's more about the small things that we can do ourselves, the small things we can do to change, that will change the world. You do my part, you do your part, and we all connected, and that's the only way we can change. So this good to the work can translate into any things in our life, can translate into our work, during our work, and the way we guide our work. We can be that person that can be motivating people, as just in terms of professionalism as well inside of our work. It can be towards family members, friends, or it can be society. And the charity comes into mind, right? So charity comes into mind when you start about bringing goodness to the world, right? But we're thinking all this about outside, but what about inside? What about us? But also about our home. So sometimes we're thinking a lot about the spirituality, about spiritual teachings, about kindness, but we do have one thing to do first is at home, look after your own backyard. And sometimes we forget to bring these spiritual teachings at home. And we see sometimes looking too much outside and to make sure that we can have our calmness inside our home. And that's the thing that we try even now with a little bit harder today for us is with the pandemic, because everyone's like 24 hours together in the lockdown, and it's a challenge for us, right? So, and I always think it's okay to the kids to start fighting and occasionally and stuff like that. It does happen, right? So that's the thing, what it is. So, but what does it require from us to get to achieve this state where we can do more goodness to the world, right, inside our homes and so on? But one thing before we go there is we have to have courage, because courage and to be able to go and do this kind of thing, because what's going to cause in us is going to change our behavior, because there's a lot of negativity in the world, and that's the fight against negativity. It's that we're going to have to do inside of us, that we can treat inside us. And there's all these different topics that we can cover is about inner reform, which we're going to explain as well. But it's the courage, it's principle, because we can start to stumble into people that we are going to have now different behavior compared to other people, and they start thinking, criticizing us about the way we do it. Sometimes you call it priest because, it's all about goodness and stuff like that, but it's not. It's about, really bringing anything that is inside you outside and keeping that courage to be who you are. And don't let any of those people to really put you down in terms when you have your work, you have this focus in your work and you want to develop this. It's about your determination with this entrust to you, this work that you're going to need to do. So what we need in us, it's about this fight against negativity. That means we need to be positive around the world more today. It's about creating this habit of kindness, which it's amazing. We can start thinking, we have these two topics I want to talk about: increasing our habit of kindness. And this is the main topic about doing good to the world. It's about kindness will create motivation to others to be kind. It's about helping others. So kindness is the centerpiece. And we have two topics: inner reform, which is Spiritism. For more than a century, Spiritism has been talking about inner reform. Inner reform is the ability to meditate about yourself, watch yourself, create more self-awareness of yourself, of your feelings, of inner emotions that are there, hidden inside of us. It can be fear, it can be lack of self-confidence, and which translates sometimes in habits, in behaviors that we don't realize. And inner reform is about realizing, looking us inside and understanding what is that inside that makes us not happy with our habits. So that's about inner reform, and we've been studying this methods, and as well through the spirit science and spirit religion, about looking at yourself as a human being, and then be more kindness, about being more kind and more generous. But then, and that has been for a long time. Now, there's very interesting researches that they are emerging, and one of them is from Dr. Richard J. Davidson. He's a psychologist and neuroscientist, and he studied in Harvard, because Harvard is a great name, so we have to talk about Harvard, but it's more about the work has been done. So originally he studied in Harvard, and he's been there for more than 30 years, working in the University of Wisconsin. So what's amazing about his work is that he because of his friend, he always liked meditation. So he has this scientific side and he's got this meditation side. So he met Dalai Lama and one day, and he was already very famous with his papers because he studies the mind. He does use MRIs, he uses those sensors to understand how the brain waves change with certain situations of our life, with external factors. So the Dalai Lama suggests to him He says, instead of you studying depression, stress, and what's the impact of our brain and our body, everyone is doing that. Why don't you study the impact of kindness in our brain and our body? And then he went and looked into all the researches that are out there. There was almost nothing. There was some studies that have been done. There was one Brazilian guy actually has done a study in charity, and the impact of charity on our body and our mind, and a few others. But there's very few. So he said, well, I'll do it. I'll have a look. I'll try. And he did. So for a long time, for more than 20 years, he's been studying. And the way he's done it, he used meditation through the process of doing this analysis. So he got a lot of patients and start analyzing first before the meditation session and after the meditation session. So what he did before the meditation session was analyzing the brainwaves, how they were, because now we're understanding how stressful are and certain situations and the sentiments, they can measure our brainwaves to see how we are. And then also they got blood samples as well to analyze DNA. So using these new techniques of, I need to review the word, I forgot already, the epigenetics. Epigenetics, it's about analyzing the DNA, and because now we know the front part of DNA is static. It defines who we are. But the bottom, the tail part, it's dynamic. So, and the cells actually, pieces of DNA can be inserted and removed against diseases and so on. So this part of dynamic part of DNA, he started studying through this process of meditation. And his process of meditation, what he focused was really through meditation, not just about yourself, but about creating a sense of empathy and compassion towards others. So that was the main part of the meditation, and as well as all the things around meditation that you need to do to get to that stage. But it's about thinking about someone, about the struggles they are doing, and then so how do you feel to help them? And what they find through that process of compassion and empathy, the whole brain waves changing in a good way, of having a better triggers and better connections in the brain. And they call this neuroplasticity of the brain, because the brain keeps changing according to external forces, but now it's internal forces changing the brain, right? For a good reason. Oh, BB says hi, that's my little one. And when they measured the DNA, then they saw the benefits of DNA were there, and it comes into a more healthy state of the body and well-being, less inflammation and less diseases and so on. They were going towards the habit of having empathy, compassion through the method of meditation. So I found that amazing, because its ability to trigger and changing this ability to from negativity to positivity. So and then what he says is that we can wire the brain, because we all have the power to be kind, but we have these habits to not exercise that. Alexia says hi. Hi, Alexia. Hi, baby. Hi, Rosanna. And this ability to wire our brain towards be more easy to do kindness towards everyone around us and those that are not around us. So it's quite interesting to see a scientist now proving all these ideas that, doing maybe it's like a prayer towards someone, or imagining kindness to someone can bring us a lot of benefits, health benefits to ourselves. So we talk about from Dave. So we learned from Dave now that this can make good to us from a health perspective, and we learned that the brainwaves, they actually can define our DNA. It can make a lot of good chemicals in our body to make us healthier. So, but what about the others? How does it work that these benefits can reach others? So then we're going to turn a little bit more with the spiritual science, that it's part of spiritism. They study the effect of the spiritual connections as well on spiritual being. How does that kindness can reach someone if they are remote? So the idea is that we are surrounded by this universal fluid that makes connections to everyone. It's all in the universe. I'm immersed on this fluid, and this fluid, he is a conductive fluid that conducts thoughts and sentiment and carries them out everywhere. So if thinking about someone, we're making a connection. If you're feeling something about someone, these thoughts, they will reach this person and the sentiments go with it. So, and then the fluid pushes it, and the power of this thought comes with the will, your willingness that you're thinking, the power and the sentiment that you feel towards that person, that even makes that push even harder. So what does that mean? That if you think about a person, you're really thinking that you wanna embrace that person because she's going through struggles. Believe that you can do it by the power of prayer, the power of feeling, of a sentiment. It's a person that's struggling and almost going through depression these days, that feeling alone. You can surround her with compassion and empathy, that this will reach that person and embrace her with warmful energy around this person, and will help her in certain ways. Maybe it's not exactly a cure, because you need to cure yourself as well, but you help to trigger some changes. And when you start thinking about, I think about this person, that person, the person calls you. That's the same thing that happens with this connection of this fluid that connects us. This is telepathy, basically. And we know that we survive the body. So as a basic teaching of Spiritism, and your mind you survive. And also we can connect our mind to the ones that have passed to the other side. But these connections have to be those connections that are healthy and are towards compassion and love. Otherwise, we want to make sure that we centralize in this. And according to Dave Richardson, we can wire our brain like this. But so I think he has provided some interesting, because what happens with our body, right? We're so conditioned to maybe not conduct our thoughts towards kindness or happy thoughts, such things, because we impact the things around the world. So what we need to make sure is that we need to focus on things that are good for us. And because we do have a negative mind, mainly with the situations regarding watching not very enlightening movies, or always watching this news that bring us down. You got to think about that any good behavior doesn't come up in the news. There's still a lot of goodness happening out there, and it just doesn't make the news. So all this contribute to this idea that sometimes I cannot do good in the world. I'm not good enough. There's a lot of people think about this, but as even Dr. Richard and Spiritism says, we have all this potential to do goodness. Even the worst person that you can think you are is just a state of mind. We need to wire our brain towards this. He has actually an app, and actually I'm trying out this app. If you go to those places that you can just get the apps from Apple Store or Google Play, it's called Healthy Minds Program. And he focuses on awareness, connection. Connection is connection towards every others, insight and purpose. And that's all we're talking in Spiritism, about having purpose, having awareness of yourself, that's inner reform, and having connection and having insight about, hey, how are my thoughts doing to the world? It's amazing. And he used this kindness exercises through the meditation. So if you go through it, it's very simple, nothing too fancy, but it's a very cool app, and he kind of to slowly teach you how to meditate. It starts from breath exercises and minding exercises, and if you go slowly, don't expect too much, but by the little pieces you can start doing this meditation. It's gonna help. It's helping me actually to be more. It actually helps you to be more focused as well at work, focus on things as well. So amongst these other things that we kind of now doubting that was mentioned about is we're thinking the world is getting worse, but it's not. We're thinking about racism is reducing, equality. We're always going towards now women rights, having the same salary everywhere, make sure that women are respected. We're passing, if you think about 100 years, we are evolving. Yes, we have some stumbles, some rocks that we are hitting here and there, but we are evolving if you think about from 100 years to now. And we are every day in our life, we have the situations that comes to us that we can exercise our kindness. And we have an example, I have a friend that mentioned an example where you had this person asking for help, for money. She didn't have, as a friend of mine, she mentioned she didn't have physical money, and she went away and she came back. She went to buy some groceries, and she said she was a bit, didn't know the person, didn't know exactly what she wanted the money for, and that's what we do. We see the situations, we have fear about the unknown, and this person said, "Oh, I just want a sausage roll," and the whole wall that we bring, always as we do, we start thinking about, oh, this person wants money for alcohol or for drugs or anything like that. So the whole wall comes down. And she had the courage, right, to ask, and then she bought some food for the person, took the person to a food shop, and like, just choose something you want to buy. It was an amazing act by I don't have physical money because of the digital ways. And then, but brings down that wall. But you can see that we built that wall because we are not sure, but we have this distrust in the world, distrust in people that we have normally in our life. So we can, if we don't extend our hand like my friend did here, of extending her hand and okay, let's go and buy a burger, and she bought a burger for him, and there was beers showing there, and he didn't choose the beer, he chose the Coca-Cola. And again, she felt, oh, how can that be? I'm thinking about he's gonna choose the beer now. He chose the Coke. So, and she was very touched because she had that moment of compassion and empathy that enlightens us inside. Right. So I just want to leave you. So, and why is that? Why that enlightens our brain, enlightens this compassion and empathy, this moment that we can feel to us? Why that enlightens? We can only think about it, and with one of the statements written in the Bible from Jesus, that is what, and also from Spiritism, that this Allan Kardec asked the spirits about what is the true meaning of the word charity, as Jesus understood. Right. So, and the answer is from Spirit is simple. Benevolence towards everyone, indulgence for the imperfections of others, and forgiveness for offenses. So it's simple. It's the act of material things in there, as well as a mechanism to do charity, yes, but we need to have those, which is forgiveness and indulgence for any imperfection. Right, so, and I want to leave you that it's the thing that we need to always keep in mind, that charity is everything that we can do from an act of kindness. But I want to leave you as well with a saying from Paul, the importance of charity, of kindness in our world, in our lives, which is very touching. From Paul, Apostle Paul, it was a message written in the Spiritist works that we have. He coming back through the mediums and writing this. He wrote, "Even if I were to speak all the languages of men and the language of the angels themselves, If I did not have charity, I would be only like a sounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I were to have the gift of prophecy and grasped all the mysteries, and if I had a perfect knowledge of all things, and if I had all the faith possible to the point of moving mountains, if I did not have charity, I would be nothing. And if I were to distribute my belongings to feed the poor and delivered my body to be burned, if I did not have charity, none of this would be any use to me. So this is Paul. It's actually in the Bible, I think, there as well. So there's no punishment of not doing good to us, to others. There's no imposition of spiritism or pointing finger. But what we learn here is that we, as human beings, we are social beings. We are potential kind people. We need to exercise that kindness. I'm talking about myself as well. I need to do a lot, to be honest, and Rosanna knows, my wife. We will allow to enlighten myself and trigger that inner reform to myself. And now I have a new tool, a meditation tool that has kindness in it for exercising, remote kindness. And we can transform ourselves into better beings. Thank you. I'll leave you now. Hopefully that was useful. It was useful for me preparing for this talk, this live, because I learned so many things, and I learned this new app as well from Dr. Dave Richardson, and he's doing a lot of help to me as well. So we have other meditations from some other spiritists. Divaldo Pereira Franco, if you search about meditation and Divaldo as well, he has some amazing meditation work that focus on that. Thank you, Maria, for your message there, and I'll see you later. Thank you.